The Eagles' offense is their bread and butter, and I'm going to tell you, if it's me, I'm always keeping my bread well buttered. Pause. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Kid Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. You know, one of the most underrated things that people talk about when talking about a winning franchise is stability. Stability is one of the most important things that you could have for a team, especially the players. Maybe except for the exception of Dallas, because their owner's, like 3,900 something years old. But for the most part, stability is something that you have to have. And I want to make sure that Jalen Hurts has stability at every position this year going into the season. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you for all the support that you give to me. It is truly remarkable, and I just want to thank you so very much. And for those of you guys who believe simply that the Eagles need to draft Bijan Robinson, that Bijan Robinson is a guy the Eagles need to have, you may want to click the link in the description and go check out these Draft 5 hats, because these Draft 5 hats are going to help us bring Bijan Robinson to Philly. That's what it's about. We believe that Bijan Robinson should come to Philly. We don't believe the narratives that everybody wants to push that you don't take a running back with with a first round pick. You do. We believe Bijan Robinson would take the Eagles to the next level. And so if you agree with that, definitely check out the link in the description and go get yourselves a Draft 5 hat. There are two. There's the trucker hats, and then there are the embroidered hats, as well as some t-shirts. These have been moving fast. If you pre-order now, you will have them for draft night. You'll wear them on draft night. You come to the Philly Shakedown podcast live stream of the draft. We'll be wearing them, and we're going to not just will it to happen, we are going to wear it to happen. So get yours. Check the link in the description. Now, let's get into it, because we're talking about Bijan Robinson hats, but this video has to do with his position, all right? So let's get into this, all right? Paulie Walnut style. All right, so at the beginning of this video, I talked about stability. I said stability is one of the most underrated things for a franchise, or not for a franchise, but it's one of the most underrated things that people talk about when discussing a franchise. We often talk about, get this player, replace this player, trade that player. But there's something about having players play together for years and years that is invaluable, okay? When you get guys that get used to each other, know how each other's, where each other are going to be, know and understand certain situations where the guy's at on the field to throw him the ball, things like that. It's important. That's why you get great, you get great teammates like Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Jerry Rice, Joe Montana. They played with each other so many years. They know how each other think. They know where they're going to be on the field, and it's just a very important thing, okay? And we often, as fans, we don't talk about this aspect of the game because we get so enamored by getting this guy, getting that guy. You can bring in new guys, but they have to mesh together. That's why you see a lot of times, you see teams that, they go out and they spend all this money in free agency. They get all these guys that are really good players, but they never really come together as a team. They don't mesh together because they're all new and they don't know how each other plays, and then they're never really together long enough to mesh. So stability is a huge thing. We talk about stability when we talked about Jalen Hurts for the last few years, right? Jalen Hurts hasn't been in the same system since like high school, and this was really the first time that he actually ran the same offense going into this year. It was like the first time he was in the same offense for 2 years. It was so important that the Eagles took the quarterback coach and made him the offensive coordinator to continue to have that stability. When you look at the offense and you look at what the Eagles have, wide receivers, you got stability there. Offensive line, you have stability there. Tight end, you have stability there, although you need a backup. I think you need to get depth at the tight end spot. But if you look at the running back spot, there's no stability. There really is no stability. You have Boston Scott on a 1-year deal. You have Rashad Penny on a 1-year deal. Now, what if Rashad Penny goes out and he has a great year? He has 1,300 yards, 1,400 yards. You know what he's going to do? He's going to go sign a big contract somewhere and get paid, and he's gone, which means you got to bring in another running back. And if Boston Scott goes, you got to bring in another running back. Now, let's say you bring in another running back. He has a great year because the offensive line's so good. Everybody has great years. Then he goes, somebody else's. Now you have rotating chair of running backs. There's no stability there, okay? There's nobody for Hurts to play with year after year, okay? And that's why I think the Eagles have to go out and get themselves a running back in this draft, all right? They have to go out and get one. They've got to get one that is going to come in, play with the Eagles for the next 4 or 5 years, and give the Eagles stability. The Eagles have to be sure of one thing, though. They have to be sure that he starts. They have to be sure that he's going to play right away. And that's why I think Bijan Robinson is the answer we all need. Not only would Bijan Robinson come in and give you 4 to 5 years, he would be an instant starter, and he's going to be good. I know some people think he's not that good of a running back, or he's the second or third best running. I think he's the best running back in the league. I don't think it's close. I like Jamar Gibbs, I do, but I don't think he's Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan Robinson has all the makings of a star in this league. I mean, you just look at the kid on the field. You look at the way he carries himself off the field. He comes off to me like a star at the next level. He just does. And I believe it so much, that I've talked about trading from 30 to getting your 30th pick, a second round pick next year, and moving up and getting him. I'm willing to take him at 10. I am willing to take him at 10, and it's not even close at this point. And the reason is because if I draft him at 10, I'm getting a guy that is a starter day one. He's going to come in and play. Now, he's not going to play just 1 year. He's not going to play just 2 years. He's here for like 4 years with a player's option, like with a team option, I believe, for 1 more year added to it because he's a first round pick. Do you know what he's going to make salary cap wise? $4 million a year. $4 million a year. For $4 million a year for the next 4 to 5 years, while Jalen Hurts' contract extension kicks in, I am going to pay this guy $4 million a year, and he's going to be an all-pro running back, in my opinion. Okay? He's going to be, especially with this offensive line. Oh, my gosh. I actually saw a video where somebody was complaining about his patience. He has too much patience when running. Dude, I think it's a beautiful thing. The way he cuts back and the way he's patient, he finds a hole, hits it, I think he's a stud. You could find bad plays for every player. Every player has bad play here, bad play there. But overall, Bijan Robinson is a 3-down back. He's going to catch out of the backfield, and he's a good pass blocker. Bijan Robinson is the answer for the Eagles at the running back position. He gives Jalen Hurts stability for the next 4 to 5 years. That's a scary backfield to deal with Jalen Hurts and Bijan Robinson. And then you got a guy like Gainwell. See, I think a Bijan Robinson makes Gainwell better. I think the complementary style of both guys makes Gainwell way more effective. Okay? Now, I say these things not to say Rashad Penny isn't a good player. I think he is a good player. The problem is I can't rely on his health. I can't rely on his health. And I know that if he has a good year, he's gone. They're not going to sign him. And if they did sign him, if Rashad Penny went out and had a great year and they signed him, it's going to cost you more than $4 million a year. Ezekiel Elliott will cost you more than $4 million a year. All these guys, all these veteran guys like Kareem Hunt, all these guys cost you more than what it would cost you to get Bijan Robinson. And Bijan Robinson has a higher ceiling than every one of these guys. Now the Eagles, the one thing I also hear is, well, the Eagles, they don't like to use those kind of backs like Bijan Robinson. I disagree. Bijan Robinson is exactly the kind of backs they have been, kind of size-wise, the kind of backs they've been bringing in. Rashad Penny, similar size. Trey Sermon, similar size. That's under Nick Sirianni. I think Bijan Robinson fits the mold perfectly. And yes, the Eagles, and then you hear, well, the Eagles only give Miles Sanders, 10, 12 carries a game, and they're not going to give Bijan Robinson enough carries. They're not going to give him the ball enough. I think that you can change your offense. The Eagles have shown over the course of the last 2 years that they could be a run-first team when they want to. They could be a pass-first team when they want to. Oftentimes, they like to come out throwing, and then they like to go to the running game in the second half and stuff with the lead. You can still do that. You could also say, well, we're going to cut down on the amount of runs Jalen Hurts is getting, and we're going to give that responsibility to Bijan Robinson. There's plenty of carries. There's plenty of snaps to go around for Bijan Robinson, and you can use him in the pass game. I don't think the Eagles felt comfortable with Miles Sanders. I really don't think that Miles Sanders was the kind of back that Nick Sirianni wanted. Nick Sirianni wants a more physical back. So Bijan Robinson just makes so much sense from so many aspects for this team. He will immediately help you this year, and he would give Jalen Hurts stability at the running back position for the next 4 to 5 years, which are going to be the peak of his contract extension. It's very important for the Eagles, and I think the Eagles need to jump all over it, and I think they will. And listen, and if Bijan Robinson goes before the Eagles can get him, then, you got to go Jamar Gibbs. And then what you do is you get Jamar Gibbs, you take what's good about him, things that you like about him, what he does, and you adjust your offense to fit his game, just like you would Bijan Robinson. The Eagles have shown that they can take the talent around them and mold their offense to fit that. They've done it 2 years in a row. They can do it again. So if Gibbs is the guy, then you go out and you adjust your offense, and you make sure you use Gibbs the right way. I think Gibbs and Bijan Robinson, I think one of those two guys, and I know there's other running backs, and we're going to talk about these other running backs later in the month, but I think those two guys specifically are it's most important that the Eagles land one of those two guys. You've got to come away with either Gibbs or Bijan Robinson. Me, I prefer Bijan Robinson because I think he's better. I just flat out think he's better. I think he's also more of the style that Nick Sirianni wants to have. I think the style of running back has actually changed from what Nick Sirianni wanted to what he inherited from Doug Peterson. So that's why I think Bijan Robinson is the missing piece to the puzzle. And I think the Eagles should definitely go out and try to get him. Just my thoughts, just my opinions. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how I vision. We're all just living in it. I'll be honest. Another reason why I would love to get Bijan Robinson is because of the Cowboys' meltdown. The Dallas Cowboys' meltdowns alone will be tremendous because they think they're getting him. They want him. They think they're getting him. They think he's theirs. And we got to get him. We've got to get him. And that will break their hearts. It will mess with their heads so much. It'll be a beautiful thing. Denzel Washington out.